Hola familia, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. As you guys can see from the title, today I'm doing something I rarely do these days, but I figured I'd share it with you guys since I have been accumulating certain things and I have been getting more PR than I usually do throughout the years. And I always like to be honest and upfront with you guys if things really do work out for me or they don't. So I have a little box of little goodies here. I'm going to run through real quick just to share with you guys exactly what it is that I am decluttering. Some things will be being thrown out, and other things I'm just going to pass along if I could find somebody who can use these items. So that's something that interests you. Stay tuned. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash by Japan. If that is something that interests you, subscribe, join us. And now let's get on with my makeup declutter. All right, so let's start out in no particular. I'm just going to dive right in here so you guys can see. First and foremost, I'm just going to tell you really quick why I'm decluttering them. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's going to take a very, very long time. But the first thing I'm going to declutter is this Cover FX True Blend Undercover Concealer. I got the color Classic Ivory. This is something I purchased myself. I realized I really don't like this concealer. Here's the reason. Two things. One, it's way too light for me in the summer, and that's where this concealer works the best for me. It works for me in the winter, but I don't like the consistency of it in the winter time. It's way too drying. It would work great for me in the summer, but not necessarily in the winter time. And because I have the wrong shade, I just am not going to use it. I'm not going to waste my time on trying to mix it, flip it, turn it, bop it, whatever. I'm just going to pass it along if I possibly can. If not, then I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. I don't have many concealers in my collection, so I don't feel like I necessarily need to keep this, and I'm okay with letting it go. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. I've tried. I really did try to make this work. I just don't have the energy for that stuff anymore. I have plenty that work perfectly fine for me, and I want to use them and not make them go bad because I'm trying to use this up. Here's another product that I purchased myself. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Gel. The reason why I'm decluttering this is not necessarily because I don't like it. It's because it's very old and I realized it was giving me a reaction. Unfortunately, I don't want to tell you how old this is. I used the deluxe sample size of it last year and I realized that's where my problems started happening. Both of them were very old and I didn't think a brow gel would give me issues, but sure enough it does. Any liquid or cream product seems to react with my skin if it's way too old. So this I'm just throwing out because it is very old and I realized it was giving me a reaction. This is something that I did get in PR. This is the Hamish powder in translucent, I believe. This was something I got from Style Vana. And I told you guys in that haul that I liked the powder, but I didn't necessarily like the color. This is something I did not choose for myself. They chose for me. It would work great for me in the summer just as a touch-up, but it is way, very, very white base. That look. Now that I have a tan, you could see that white cast on there. So imagine that on my skin. So I'm just going to pass this along to see if somebody else could use it because I'm not going to get any use out of it. Same thing goes with this. In that PR, they sent me this foundation. I really love the coverage of it. I love the consistency of it, but they chose an extremely light shade. It is as light as this. So it's not going to work for me. I'm going to pass it along. It's a squeezy tube, so I feel like it's sanitary enough for me to pass it along to somebody else so I can, as long as I find somebody else is going to get it. This is something that also was sent to me in PR. This is the AOA Studio Liquid Concealer. This is something that I did get from Shop Miss A. I really like the consistency. Again, it's a very, very good concealer. I love the coverage of it. I loved how it felt under my eyes. The downside of it was the color. This is Fair Ivory. It's not going to work for me. Not even in the wintertime will this work for me. It's very, very light. It's very deceiving when you see it in the tube, but it's too light for me. So I'm not going to get use out of it. I'd rather use the things that work for me. So I am also going to go ahead and pass this one along. This, you guys remember this? This is the Chateau Laubiette Wine Lip Tint Velvet in the shade Don't Know. RDON, I guess. This is a red, how do I put it? It's not a liquid lip 100%, but it's kind of like a moussey liquid lip. I don't need any more red, you guys. I think this is really cute packaging. I think I only used it once. If I could find somebody that's familiar to me that doesn't mind having this, I guess I'll give it to them. If not, I'm just going to go ahead and end up chucking it because I don't know who else to give it to now with everything going on People are very cautious about what they're picking, which is perfectly fine, but I'm not going to get use out of it. I don't want any more reds in my collection. I've narrowed down my reds to the ones that I genuinely like, and this is not one of them. So I'm just going to go ahead and declutter that out of my collection because I'm not going to use it. Here's another one. This one I got from Yes Style. This is the 3CE in the shade, this is a matte brilliant. This was a beautiful shade. I think the shade is stunning. I would have loved this in the summer. My only downside is the formula. It is extremely matte. I mean, to the point where it tugs so hard on your skin, even on the back of your hand. Imagine this trying to use it as a cheek product or a lip product. Terrible. It looks terrible on the lips because it's way too matte. It's worse than a liquid lip, to be honest with you. At least a liquid lip glides on nicely at first. This one doesn't even do that. I'm not going to use it. I haven't touched it since I got it, and I will not use it at all. So I'm just going to see if somebody else wants that, because no, absolutely not. This is another thing in PR that I got. This is the Re-Ray Fork Eyebrow Tint in dark brown. I'm going to see if somebody else can use this. I told you guys this is a really good product. It lasts on your skin. I necessarily don't need something like this for my eyebrows, but the color was terrible on me, so I'm going to pass it along to see if somebody else, if I know somebody else maybe that has more warmer tones to their hair that could use this, I'm going to pass this along because I think it's great. It just doesn't work for me. This was gifted to me by my friend, Miss Adrea. This is the Lise Watier 2-in-1 Concealer in Bisque. This was too drying for my under eye, so I only used it once, and it just looked terrible under my eyes. It made me age a lot more than what I already am, and I already have issues with my under eyes, and I don't want to tug at my under eyes with something like this and make it look extremely drying. So I am going to pass this along. Maybe somebody younger can use this to correct or to like chisel out their face, but it's not going to be something I'm going to use, so I'm going to pass that along as well. This was from Shop Miss A. You guys saw that I tried that on all their products, and this is the AOA Studio Perfect Press Concealer in Empress. This is way too golden. It's like a yellow gold. It's more like an eyeshadow than anything, or even an inner corner highlight, but I don't want to use it for that. I have too many things. I have too many things that already do that for me, and why force myself to use something that I'm not going to use, and might as well pass it along since it's already basically brand new. I've only used it once, swatched it once, so I'm going to see if somebody else could use that because that's not going to work for me. Not even now that I have more of a tan, it's not going to work for me. These are the NYX Vivid Brights. You guys saw that I was doing my Shop My Stash. As I do my Shop My Stash, I pulled these out and I realized that these have gone dry. I've only had these for about a year. I had already decluttered all the other 4 that I had, and these were the last 4 that I had in my collection. So all 4 of these will be going to the garbage because they're terrible. If you want something like this, I would highly recommend maybe like a cake liner where you can wet it and then it automatically dries back up, so that way those last a lot longer than these. I barely even got a dent in these before they dried up, so no, I wouldn't recommend those. This is another thing that I did get in Shop Miss A. This is the AOA Lip Pop in City Girl. Absolutely love the color of this. The only downside is it feathers way too much outside my lip line. Even if I have a lip liner with this, it's just, I don't know, the formula of it doesn't sit well. And could you imagine this in the dead of summer in the heat outside? This would literally run everywhere on my face. So that's the main reason why I'm going to let this go. I don't have time to babysit my lips. I'm already babysitting 3 children plus my husband and a dog. I don't need something else to babysit. I want something that's going to stay put on my lips and move on, live my life without having to have a mirror with me at all times to make sure that my lip isn't going anywhere. So I'm going to let this one go, even though I really like the color. I thought it would work for me, but it really doesn't for me personally. The last 3 items are things that I will be chucking. You guys know that I normally go through my lip products on a monthly basis just to make sure that everything is still good, intact. And I found out that these 3 liquid lips from Too Faced, these are the melted matte liquid lips in Sellout, which is one of my all-time favorite colors. Bend and Sap is another one I genuinely loved. And Suck It, which is a little bit darker and more of a red toned, I guess, pinky toned than Sellout. Sellout was my all-time favorite. These have gone bad. You can't tell in the tube, but when you open these up, these smell like straight up paint. Paint thinner, paint, and they typically don't smell that way. So I know these have gone bad. So lipsticks for me, when they go bad, they smell like Play-Doh. Liquid lipsticks, when they go bad, they smell like paint. So these smell like paint, so I will be chucking these as well. You guys know I'm not buying any lip products unless they come in through PR. So I'm not replacing these. I have plenty still to go. I have plenty of colors. I have these similar shades in other formulas, so I'm not gonna waste my time on repurchasing these. If and when that day comes where my collection is very, very small when it comes to my lip products, maybe I'll consider adding more things, but for right now, I'm good. Last three things are eyeshadow palettes. I told you guys that this right here, the BH Cosmetics Nice palette, I did a whole review, like a whole ranking of this. This is okay, but I'm not reaching for this. I can tell you right now, since I've done that, I haven't reached for it. The shimmers are terrible. The mattes are okay, but they need a lot of building up, and I just have so much better stuff. More better? I think I said that right. Better things in my collection that'll do the job 100 times better than this, and I'm not gonna reach for it. There's no point. This was under $5, so I really don't care. If somebody else would want it, maybe. If not, I'll give it to my kids to use for sidewalk chalk. The other one that I mentioned was this one. This is the Wander Beauty Wondrous Fling. This was gifted to me by Drea. Drea had tried it out. She didn't like the formula. She told me if I wanted to try out to see if I liked it. You guys can see that I tried to make this work. These don't sit on your eyes. Like they look beautiful as a swatch, but when you put them on your eyes, they kind of like crumble away. So again, I'm not going to keep it if it's not going to work for me. So I'm just going to let somebody else have it if they want to try it out. Maybe with a cream shadow as a base, they can make this work, but I just have way too much stuff to go out of my way for something that I genuinely don't love that much to do that for. I have to really love the product to do that for. So I'm just going to go ahead and either give it to somebody, and if they don't want it, sidewalk chalk for my kids. Last one that I'm going to get rid of is this one. I have been contemplating on going through my eyeshadow palettes to see what I'm going to keep, what I'm not going to keep, and this stood out to me 100% with this Declutter. This is the Morphe 39B. This is what this one looks like, you guys. I think I used this once. I have so many rainbow palettes. I just have so many great formulas, and not saying that this one's terrible because they've gotten a little bit better. And this one is like the hard plastic. So this is the newer version. I bought this right before they got rid of this one, and they didn't bring it back until the Lisa Frank collection. It's the same concept, just a different packaging, but I don't reach for that. I reached for this one time since I've had it, and as I look at my large palettes, the ones that I keep are the ones that I really, really love and I can see myself using. This is something that I don't see myself reaching for, so why keep it? So I'm going to try to pass this along to somebody. I've tried to sell my makeup on Poshmark and Mercari. Not many people want to have older makeup, so I really don't care. I'm not here for the money, so I'll find somebody. If not, I'll grab a bunch of palettes that I know I want to get rid of and send them over to the Project Beauty Share and let them spread it out to whoever wants to use it. So I'm going to get rid of this one. This is going to be out of my collection just because I'm not reaching for it, and I have beautiful, beautiful rainbow palettes that I'm not going to use that one. All right, you guys, that's it. That's all the things that I have accumulated for the past like 6 months. As you guys know, I'm not really decluttering too much unless it's really something that is not working for me, has died out on me, or that I can see myself passing along to somebody. I'm not somebody who's decluttering constantly to bring in more things. You guys know that. 3 eyeshadow palettes I'm getting rid of. Even though I bring a lot more in, I just love my eyeshadow palette, so I'm not too upset about the stuff that I am getting rid of. I'll try to see if around November, December, I'll have a little bit more to share with you guys if more things pop up. If you guys want to see a PR products that I really love and would buy on my own, I could do that because there's a lot of PR that I get that I really, really love and would recommend. There's some, as I shared with you guys today, that just didn't work for me, and that's okay. Not everything's going to work for everyone, and that is perfectly fine. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put more videos over here for you. Until then, adios.